podcasting will be a thrill. Grandpa and chill, grandson and friends. Grandpa and chill in full effect. We talk about it all, yeah, put it all on the set with that pet craze too. We chillin' with Rosie, come through, stay tuned, yeah, listen closely. Cause this the millennials and the silent generation coming together, discussion in rotation. This is Grandpa and Chill.
It's ready.
He doesn't care at all.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Now you ask, Grandpa.
I was just saying, nice to meet you, Angela, and like to know a little more about yourself.
Alrighty then, where should I start? I'm a growthologist. I teach grown folks how to grow up, and I absolutely love what I do. Most of it has come by accident, but I'm also a mother and a Gigi. I'm a friend. I'm an author and a poet and an award-winning filmmaker, a social worker, and a therapist. And it's been a journey to trek to accepting all of those titles, because it just sounds like a lot. And my sister used to always say, I'm just team extra, team too much, just always overboard. So I'm all of those things, and I absolutely love life, and I love what I'm doing, and I love helping grown folks grow up.
Sounds like I could use your service.
That's
You
why.
know what?
That's why.
I am so happy you say that. Most times when I meet people, they always recommend me for somebody else. Like, oh my goodness, you need to talk to my husband. You know, very seldom do people say, hey, I need you. But hey, I love it. I love it. I love it.
Well, I've been told I need to grow up, so I don't know.
Is that a bird that I see on your shoulder?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Yeah, that's some grown shit right there, Grandpa. I'll say you're already there. Okay.
That's Rosie.
Rosie, okay.
It's like our show that she randomly will attack Grandpa sometime during the interview. So
Okay, the
that'll be
podcast
fun.
has a mascot named
Yeah.
Rosie.
Oh,
I
wow.
love
We
Okay.
must have heard her name.
Yeah, I thought it was so interesting, Angela, that you were specifically focused on growth for adults. You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mainly because I tell my 6-year-old granddaughter when she asks, where am I going? I say, you know where I'm going. She says, I know. You're going to help grown folks act like kids. One of the workshops that I do is about authenticity, and most adults have had their authenticity stripped from them at a very early age. So I do a lot in that workshop, and I tell people that unless you're acting like a 2-year-old, you're not keeping it 100. Now, you can't be authentic and not act like a 2-year-old, because they ask questions, they talk no matter what. If they want to know something, they're absolutely going to ask you. They will tell you anything. They don't know how to hold anything, especially their truth. And I have to teach now grown folks how to do that, because we have had it kind of stripped from us by our parents and society and friends and churches and systems and all those types of things. So now we go around muted and silent, and having people walk over us or hold our truth. And yeah, I think that's it's a bad thing for sure.
Yeah,
for
but I
certain.
might get slapped.
Well, sometimes a good slap, can help. I don't know. And you're right. People are absolutely a little bit more sensitive to the truth. In fact, we call it the brutal truth, or the hard truth. And there's nothing hard or brutal about the truth, except people now have a hard time taking it in. And that's really and truly on them. Anything that I think, feel, and believe, I'm able to say, mainly because I have distanced myself from helping you manage your emotions from hearing what I said, right? We don't want to do that. So I get to say what I want to say and just keep it moving. You manage your own emotions. I'm managing mine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Love it. It's very cool.
Yeah.
What got you down that journey, and where'd you start, and how'd you start?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Most of it, again, I think by accident. I stutter. And I was the fat kid. I was the last kid chosen. I had no idea. I got my undergrad and my master's degree in social work. So I wanted to help people. I knew that. But I definitely did not think that I would ever be standing in front of people because I stutter. I get very anxious in front of crowds. I mean, like nothing gave me any indication I would be doing that. But I do have a belief in a higher power, and I believe that those things were gifted to me, and thus I have, more confidence than I ever needed to be able to do it. And so I was probably 10 years into my, actually it was in 2002. I did my very first workshop. And it was standing room only. In fact, I was like, why are all those people standing out there? They're like, they're trying to get in the room. I'm like, to see who? Like, what are they doing? And it's been an amazing journey. I've watched things come to me. One of the great things, I think one of my superpowers is that I definitely have the gift of engagement. I can engage anybody. There's not anybody. Most people will say, oh, well, I'm not going to talk a lot. It's usually those people I'm able to pull out. The other thing is that if I do things last minute and not prepare, I actually have a greater a greater delivery. Because I stutter, I don't read, because when I read, I stutter more. But if I wait until the last minute to do something and not prepare, I am gifted with the words. I love to feel the audience out, to get a feel for where they're trying to flow, whether I can drop the F-bomb or not, those types of things. And it has been an amazing journey, and again, by accident. So I did that very first workshop in 2002, and then I started Let's Talk University. The talk stands for Together, Acquire, and Lasting Knowledge. I'm the acronym queen. You give me a word, I can give you an acronym. For sure and for certain. Impact, my favorite definition, to intentionally motivate people to act, change, and transform. Ooh, ain't that sexy?
Wow.
I get excited just hearing about it, for sure. And I did the Let's Talk first, and the tagline was "We bend but we don't break." And then I started Let's Talk University, where I did retreats and boot camps for couples and for singles. And there was some dilemma about who was single. So were you single if you were dating? Yeah. So one time I had somebody who was dating somebody but came to a singles retreat, and oh my goodness, it was a big old blowout. But anyway, and I went from there to a movie. Like, I did a documentary, and that still just blows me away because that was not on my radar at all. But I looked at a TV program and I was like, where are our stories? And God was like, you do it. And I'm like, who are you talking to? You're not talking to me. I don't make films. I know nothing about it. I didn't even know what a director and a producer did until after I was done with the movie. I was like, oh, I did that. Oh, I did that. Oh, I did that. So I have an award-winning documentary called Black Rainbow Love, and it's been in 31 film festivals, and we won 11 awards. And literally, there's two people on it, me and the cinematographer. Like, I funded it myself. So when I talk about blessings and gifts and talents, and I believe that our gifts and talents are ours to open, but they're not ours to keep. And so I was given an assignment and literally went forward with it. That then took me to this book called Poetic Alchemy, and it's poems. It's actually a poetry self-help book, because I don't like to read a lot, and I don't like to read poetry, but I like listening to it. I like hearing it. And so I was like, I can't just put out a poetry book. So I made a workbook from these poems that, I was a devastated person. I came up, and fortunately and unfortunately, these things, my hurt and pain came out in poetry. And I wouldn't identify myself as a poet for sure, but that's how this pain kind of came out. And so I created these intentions, and yeah, so I just got today my first Amazon review, which was a 5-star, and I'm just like way excited. That's probably why I was texting you so early. Like, hey, I'm ready, because like otherwise my ADD would have taken me someplace else. But so it's been a journey, and I'm very happy to be on it. It has been a life-saving journey. There's been times I've not wanted to be here. My sister passed away 3 years ago, but I know that there are people that have been assigned to me, and they're waiting for me in some way, shape, or form. And I know that I can't leave here until I show up for those people. So I tell my community and the community at large, I'm mainly here for you all, because if it was just me, deuces. I'm so done on people sometimes with this world. I just like, okay, then come get me. I'm ready. So that's kind of the short version of this very long trek. But the bottom line just being that I wouldn't call myself an author or a poet or a filmmaker. I would call myself obedient. And my obedience has just taken me to those places. So yeah, I hope that answered your question.
Wow. Yeah, you could have fooled me with the poetic because that's pretty poetic. And you know the acronyms, that's very poetic as well. Yes, Andy, do you do some improv? You probably be good at it. You seem like you be good on your toes.
I actually did an improv class because my thought was I could not get people to come and grow up at a workshop. I said, so maybe if I make it entertaining, they don't really know they're growing up. And so I took an improv class and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I'm able to make people laugh, which you have to do when you're making people grow up because you got to, have it be funny. And I tell people while you're laughing, I'm actually stuffing growth down your mouth, so you can take it in that way. But yeah, I think I am I think very quickly on my toes. And because I do what I do, you almost have to be, because there's always somebody in the group that has something to say or can come back, and I got to get a very quick comeback. So yeah, I guess if I ever not do this well anymore, I could always be a comic or something like that.
Well, you seem like a very serious person but in a lighthearted way, you make people feel comfortable.
Oh yeah, and that's a great way to put that. I love that you call me serious because most people don't think I'm serious at all. But that I do that on purpose. I didn't do it. It was done to me on purpose where I'm able to be lighthearted. And so people are not as, they don't feel as judged or they don't feel as critical. And again, they absolutely can feel engaged. And thus it becomes easier to do what I do for even those people who don't think they need to grow up, And I tell everybody, all grown folks should be growing. Grown does not have an end on it. Everybody should be growing and growing. Right.
What techniques and exercises have you found really help people, and how have you figured those out?
Ooh, it all depends on the person. If in fact some people are better verbal, one of the things that I love to do with couples, our nonverbal can be very loud. Say for instance, is it Phines? Is that how you say your name, Phines?
Finest.
Fine. Come on, boo. I see you. I like that. Finest. That's it right there. I saw some of and on almost all of them, he just kind of was looking like, and I said, okay, then what's going on with that? Our nonverbal can be very loud, and sometimes people only see our nonverbal when we're talking. So with couples, especially couples that are growing through some things, I find that when people see people and they're moving their hands all about and they're moving their head, they take offense to that, not necessarily their words. So one of the things that I have couples do is to sit back to back. And you would be blown away to see how people are able to communicate so much better when they're not looking at somebody and looking at their eyes rolled back and their facial expressions. And I know that my nonverbal can be very loud as well. I talk with my hands and all those types of things. And that works wonderfully. Like, I was blown away. But what I did know is that even when I was looking at at the couple, I was like, oh yeah, she getting on my nerve too. So, I mean, I can understand what he's thinking, So I did it back to back, and that was by accident. It was not anything I did on purpose, and it works, and I use it all the time now. One of the other things is I think people are able to tell their story by telling the story, and people love to talk about themselves and their story. You get people talking, and I'm able to hear things that people don't readily just say to me, and I'm able to see things that people don't show me just by hearing them tell their story. So I use a lot of storytelling in my therapy because people I'm able to stumble on some things. I know what you didn't say and those types of things. So those things work really, really, really well. As long as you don't call it a workshop or you don't call it therapy or things like that, I'm able to get people to do it. When people know that they're coming to me for a specific reason, the very first thing I ask them is to go in the closet and go get that box, the one they put all the stuff in when they don't feel or don't think or try to stuff stuff. And people will give me automatic feedback, but it alerts them that they have a box because we all have one. But then most of them realize that it's no longer just a box. It's actually a whole closet full of stuff. I'm not sure if we could cuss.
You can say whatever the fuck you want. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Why you give me that much power? I don't drink or smoke, so I perfected cussing when I was in college. So I mean, like I practiced how to say motherfucker and damn, and I dropped the F-bomb in front of kids. I get all the street credit in the world. Like, did you hear, man? She dropped the F-bomb. She must be cool.
Grandpa,
So
close your
most
ears.
people, yes, Grandpa, please close. Oh, my grandmother is probably gonna strike me down for disrespecting my elders for sure. I have to let her know it was a podcast, and you all gave me permission. Most people don't realize that their box has turned into a whole closet full of stuff. So it's no longer just a box. It's like literally you're, throwing stuff in the closet and closing it up real quick. And that's very difficult. I do realize how difficult it is. Somebody's asking you to bring out all your dirty laundry. And let's just take it one thing at a time and sort the laundry first. And then we're going to wash it. And then we're going to dry it, those types of things. But I let people know that it gets hard. It gets harder before it gets better. But I promise, and you have to make it here to prove me wrong. I promise that it definitely gets better.
Well, you sound like you have a lot of love for people.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
I do. Well, man, let me take that back, Grandpa. I don't necessarily love people, but I love the fact that they can be better or they could grow up more because, yeah, people are something else. Like I said, this world that we live in now has become some things. I used to be very naive about things. I was the only African American in Streetsboro High School. I was the first Black to graduate from Streetsboro High School, and I worked at United Healthcare for over 15 years. I was one of the only African Americans with a degree in my department. And if I could tell you, I probably was into my 40s before I felt that impact of race and all those types of things. And yeah, it's just been a lot with people and people not knowing how to show up. When I was suicidal and did not want to be here, I was blown away by how many people just could not come and help, not even hold space with me. Even though if I had completed it, everybody was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe it. I'm heartbroken. And so I tell people, listen, if you don't miss me while I'm here, you can miss me while I'm dead. Like I don't subscribe to that, but I do understand and give grace to those people because everybody can't show up. And because I feel deeply and I'm very transparent and I don't mind being vulnerable and I love crying because I believe that it's a release. Many people can't sit in that, not even with somebody. And if I'm the person in turmoil, they definitely can't sit thinking that they might have to save me. Someone told me once that my freedom is offensive to people's bondage. So there's another reason why people don't necessarily like to be around me. Now, I'm a great service provider. People love me to provide service, but I'm finding that most people don't want to be friends with or even partners with a mouth and a mirror. And I'm kind of both on purpose. So it's people. I love who people can be. Sometimes I'm not in love with the people that they are. That's honest. Thank you, Grandpa, for that, because I don't think I've ever said that out loud. But yeah, you caught me on a good night for sure.
Are you optimistic about the direction of our society? How do you feel about this society right now?
No, I'm not at all. Not at all. I mean, yeah. I spend 98% of my time alone. And the only reason I haven't worked full time in over 10 years. And I've not gone back to work because I'm an undercover hothead. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I'll cut somebody, like I don't have a problem coming for somebody, And so I literally cannot trust myself. I call myself on protective custody. Like I put myself, like, you need to stay here because it would be a lot. I don't know how to hold my tongue. I know how to be careful with it, but I'm also a person that I could cut you and you not even know you bleeding. So I know the power that I have. And in order for me to refrain from doing that with people, I have to keep myself kind of isolated and removed because I don't mind speaking truth. And I'm really okay with how you feel about it as long as I don't have to manage your feelings. But I think that there's lots of things going on with this world that are not, like I haven't had a TV in my home since 2016. And you can go ahead and do the correlation there. And it's been because I cannot, there's something about the weight of people and the audacity of some people and certain things I never ever thought that I would have to live or see. And I have grandchildren. I have a a daughter and two grandchildren, and I'm saddened that they have to experience who we are today. I'm saddened that this place is not a better place for them. And definitely saddened that at some point I'm not going to be here to be able to protect them from some things. And both of my grandchildren are actually mixed race. And all I can do is pray. All I can do is pray, for sure. So yeah, I'm pretty, like I said earlier, at the top of the hour, I'm pretty done on people. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Mm. Well, I have some thoughts and comments about what was going. I mean, I guess, where do I start? I have been learning about recently fun itself and like fun as a theory, like what is it, and all that. And one thing that also was learned about was like kids have fun. And they were connecting to like also found out that fun is a flow state and all this stuff. So it kind of when you're talking about growing up and being a 2-year old, I keep thinking about like, oh, that sounds like fun, which is like a flow
Yes.
state, which is something that we all like. Oh, also because I wrote down a lot about labels too, about like just labeling like you being like the label of being suicidal or the label of being a black person or a woman or whatever all these labels are that puts you into this box of things where
Right.
you can't have fun. It makes it hard to have fun because you got all these labels right here on you.
Right.
Yeah, no, you just been having me clicking things and connecting points, and I appreciate it, and it's good food for thought.
That's a good thing
Yeah,
that you can make people think. And that too is a superpower that really and truly I can leave people going, And I love when people ask me questions that they wouldn't normally ask. I'm a recovering codependent. I was speaking to somebody the other day and she said, "You talk a lot about that. What is it?" And I said, like, I'm so happy you asked. Like I got so excited about that. And it's you use the word fun, and it's not a word that I use very often, but I think about it. And you think about how kids, I have an only child. And I remember when I used to live in the projects, and somebody would get a new refrigerator. And the things that we could do with that box that the refrigerator came in was like bar none. Like it was a car, it was a spaceship, it was a refrigerator, it was all of these things. And then I watched my daughter kind of do this thing where they started having video games and things of that nature, and their funding had to be something they had to be occupied with something other than your own thoughts and your own feelings and your own what would it be called, your imagination, those types of things. And that's another thing to me that's a little scary, is that people, I mean, when my granddaughter says she's bored, and I'm like, how does one become bored? Like I don't even understand that concept. But in her mind, she's bored when she doesn't have anything to do that's specific around this thing. So she can't use her imagination. I don't like to vacation a lot, but I tell people I go someplace every day in my head and I don't have to pay a dime for it, And so we have the ability to have fun and to do things that don't, when people talk about self-care, the first thing they talk about is going to spend money. Well, if you
yeah,
already broke and that's a part of you being stressed and that's a part of you not being able to practice self-care, like why would you go do that? But there's people that believe that those things are things that are tangible. The same thing with um, when people talk about, okay, that thought just went. So that's how you can tell my age. I look and I act like I'm 27, but I'm actually 58. So as soon as I had that thought, it kind of went someplace. It'll come back, but just
it's
not
all right.
now.
I've been trying to keep. I've been trying to. You say so much that makes thought provoking to me that I'm also trying to like keep track. I'm like I gotta remember that. But what you just said. There's something you
Oh,
just
good. It's
said that
not
I was
just
like,
me.
no,
My
it's just you. I'm just
imagination is so
not me.
good.
No, no,
You're going, yep, that's it. Okay. That's cool. That's cool.
no,
I
no,
feel so much better. I tell people all
no.
the time, misery loves company, but it also needs it to grow. Because you guys just made me, just enveloped me in your love, knowing that you too forget things. Okay,
Yes,
go ahead.
yes, I do. Okay, okay. It was close to what you were just talking about. Okay. My dad always says things that make you say, you like that, you like that. Okay, it was past that though. We both from the Midwest. I'm from Indiana. You're from Cleveland. I like that you feel
Yes.
respect on that as well, because I tell people I'm from Indiana. They don't shake. They should.
Right.
No.
Right. But that's okay because Indiana's kind of sly with it. Like, that smile you got on, it was like, I didn't see it coming. You weren't supposed to.
See? No.
You weren't supposed to. Right.
Um, I'm gonna think of it. I'm gonna go ahead and let it go past. But there was other stuff, but when it comes, um, yes, yes. Oh
Okay.
yeah, okay. I got it. I
You
got it.
got
I got it.
that.
Yes, I do
What?
got it.
What?
I
What?
don't.
You got
I
it
don't
back?
want. I don't want to talk down too much to my younger people because I'm a part of that. But I do think what you're saying about earlier about us not having like very thick skin either, or not being able to face things. Well, a lot of that's because in my opinion, is because instead of facing some of like emotions and things that I don't like and things that bother me, it's so much easier for me to pick up my phone. Or honestly, so much stuff I draw a lot. I mean, not saying that drawing is I like it because it's not like completely distracting, but those are still like distractions that I always have. That it's not always like, hey, maybe I should just reflect on how I'm feeling about things. But that's kind of hard. But the more you work on that, the thicker your skin is, because when someone puts something in front of you that you have very for the first time like been open to it, it kind of makes you upset, like telling
Right.
someone like waking people up essentially.
Right.
Is it can be kind of tough.
And what's very pivotal about that is what most people don't know until they actually have it happen. I keep these next to, I have them on my phone. They're different versions of the emotional wheel. You all ever seen that
I
before?
have it. Yeah, we're friends.
Oh my goodness. Because fine, okay, and good are not emotions, and you can't manage what you can't identify. And most people aren't able to identify their emotions. If in fact you're able to identify what you're thinking and feeling, it absolutely is a release. And most people don't know that because they weren't ever taught to identify what they think, feel, and believe. And so they carry that. So each time if we're carrying those things that we can't identify, we don't know what it is, or we come up with a primary emotion, which is mad, but you're mad because what? You were abandoned or because you felt rejected. Most people don't know that. And I put that in the book. One of the intentions is identifying your emotions, because many people will tell you, oh, I'm doing good, but that's not an emotion, and I really can't tend to you with that thing because it's not true and a true emotion, and you're not able to then to manage things. So most of our kids are either happy or they're mad, and no in between. Why? Because they can't identify those other things where they feel abandoned or they feel excluded or they feel rejected or they feel, happy, or those types of things. And so, yeah, I'm all about that. And you talked about drawing. I developed a coloring book with my own sayings in them. This one says, I'm thankful for my
Ah,
therapist, and you should be too. Right. And I do a whole curriculum around coloring. My very first saying, we don't go from work to home, we go from work to work.
yeah,
And happiness is an inside job that should not be outsourced.
yeah.
And this is one of my favorites here. When escorted by the truth, not everyone will want your company.
Wow, look at this, and it's a coloring book, huh?
It's a 50-page coloring book with 50 of my most popular sayings, and I started as a fundraiser for my movie. Yep. So when you talked about art, I mean, literally, there's a whole big wave now with art creative therapy.
Hmm.
So it is what you're doing, what you're drawing is absolutely a way to release. But then there's some things that you need to do with that for it to be a true release. In that, yes, you're flowing with your marker or your pen or your pencil or whatever, but there has to be some identifying of what you're thinking about, what you're feeling. And again, that's a release that most people don't know about because they only know how to suppress. And just think about how challenging it could be to feel something and not be able to identify it. Oh, like I could get entangled just thinking about it. So I take
Hmm.
these things everywhere I go. They're on my phone. I give them out, and again, I put them in the book because I do believe that we could be, if people were able to say that they were fearful and not first pull out a gun, or that they could identify and be okay with being a racist or be okay with being homophobic and all those things, but there being a place for it where people will just not say it and carry out all these actions around being mad
Yeah.
or angry and those types of things. I think yeah, our emotional well-being, but where did we learn that at? Nobody taught us that. Nobody taught us that. We know English, math, social studies, science. When I was going to school, we did typing. Now they do computers, those types of things. They teach us to be professional. They don't teach us to be personal.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't even know
That's
where I
why I have.
found my emotional wheel, but I mean, I did like it. I liked it for, yeah. I also I don't cuss too much, but I'll be damned, if I can't articulate myself very much. So I like to I want to be able to tell someone how I feel and not get
Oh,
mixed words up.
absolutely.
I feel that, so I like that. And you know what? What's recently too? This is because I'm just nerding out on like all this emotional intelligence stuff, but I just didn't get a job. I went to an interview and I didn't get it. And I was telling everybody, like my mom and everybody's like, "Are you okay? You're patting you on the back." And I'm like, "I'm fine." I actually getting offended that people are asking me if I'm okay. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm hustling. I'm fine. I'm doing great. And then, but though I have been journaling and noticing though, I just spent money for no reason. I just spent like got a new backpack, found a reason. And I just like see all these triggers that I'm saying I'm
Right.
okay to y'all, but I'm spending money like out of like nowhere. Like I got money. And doing little
Right.
stuff that I'm upset about. But I am very happy that I have this awareness now because I didn't have that a couple of years ago, and I would have just been mad and broke.
Right, right. And that, I mean, great that you can identify, because you really can't change anything that you can't identify. And when you, so much of us suppressing those things is automatic. Oh, I'm good. Like, I don't know what I hate for people to tell me not to cry, because I know too many people that can't cry. So that's actually a privilege to be able to shed a tear because I'm feeling something. And I always wipe my tears in my face, which is the reason I have beautiful skin, because I cry a lot. I cry when I'm happy. I cry when I'm sad. But people really and truly just automatically will say, "Oh, I'm doing good. Oh, it's okay." We say that all the time. Somebody says, "Oh, I apologize," and the first thing we say, "That's okay." Well, that's giving people a pass and allowing them not to acknowledge what you feel. So literally, I check myself before I say, "Oh, that's okay. I'm good for saying no worries." What you could just say is, "Thank you. Thank you for you acknowledging that, yeah, you effed up and you shouldn't have did that, or you shouldn't have said that," versus, "Oh, it's okay. It's just what we do." And so many things are automatic. And that's what's difficult about growing, is because our dysfunction is so automatic that we literally have to stop. And I will pause and count to 10 because my codependency wants me to show up in every way. So I'm hearing you say that you just bought a backpack and you didn't get a job. My first thought is, as a codependent, like, "Ooh, who do I know that could give him a job?" Da, 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 da. So I
Mhm.
count to 10 and I check myself. What do you need to do for you first? Because I got first, you got next.
Mhm.
And usually by the time I get to 10, I can talk myself out of soliciting myself for the benefit of other people, because I need to do what I need to do for me first. Because if I'm breathing right, I can help a million people. But if I'm not
Right.
okay, yeah, people go by the wayside. So yeah, good for you. That's good for you
Mhm.
to identify. And next, practice on when people ask you how you're feeling to actually give them an emotion. Because fine, okay, and good are not emotions.
Yeah, I
I
felt
feel
fine and good.
like
Okay.
I feel like
Go
I
ahead.
even do it because I journal like finest and just free write and stuff because I feel like
I
very
love this
disconnected
about
all the
you
time.
all.
Even in my journaling, I'm like, yeah, I'm fine, and then I'm just trying to like get done with it to not actually think or feel, and just go about my day because I have this to do and this to do and like never ends.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Feeling is a burden to most people. Like, we will say, "I don't have time to feel." Well, I believe if you've ever gone to a physician that made you feel like you were the only patient that they had, they gave you the same 15 minutes they gave everybody else, but in that 15 minutes, you felt like you were the only one. Well, I think being able to identify your emotions and own them and be able to manage them, because all those things are emotional intelligence, it absolutely is not heavier, it's actually lighter, but you have to get there to prove me wrong. And most people there's a fear about getting to that place. I think that the thought is it's got to be heavier because it's easier just to put something away. No, it's easier to carry stuff because I'm unapologetic and I get to be light. I no longer have to leave home with 50 pounds of weight. One of the things that I do in my workshops, I have people carry around a backpack that has 50 pounds of rocks in it. And imagine those are all the trauma, the drama, the disappointment, the unexpressed emotions, all those things. And we don't leave home without it every day. And I tell people, listen, I used to be 360 pounds. What do I look like picking up 50 extra pounds for no good reason? And really started to shed where those are not things that I have to rid myself of. And I love the fact that people know exactly how I feel. No one can say, oh, I had no idea that she was feeling that way. Nobody can say that, because I'm absolutely, when you call me and ask me how am I doing, even not even feeling, I'm going to say I'm feeling productive, I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling excited, I'm feeling perplexed, I'm feeling contemplative, I'm feeling all of those things. I'm getting ready to do 15 days in 4 cities speaking, and I'm, packing like I'm packing for a year, so I'm scattered and all those things. And really and truly, it's lighter, because once I say it and release it, it's gone off of me. When you carry it, it stays with you. When you don't speak it, it stays with you. So it's heavier. So I'm hoping that anybody that listens, and everybody that listens, will understand that it absolutely is a better place to be able to identify those emotions and dispense them, because it gets rid of those things. And the younger, the better. Some of these things I didn't get to until I was in my 40s and 50s. Even as I was teaching it, I didn't learn it. And I love the fact that if I can get to people, younger people, in high school, in college, young adults, to kind of start the curve now, we can have some emotionally intelligent young people out there.
What about Grandpa?
And well, see, here's the thing. Here's what I know, Grandpa. I'm speaking directly to you now, because I'm 58. My grandmother, when she passed away, was 91. And one of the things that she used to say to me all the time, one of the things she loved about being older, is that she didn't have to do anything she didn't want to do. And I was like, ooh, I can't wait till I get there. But then she said to me, well, no, there are things that I want to do that other people aren't used to me doing because I'm older. So like, people don't have any expectations because I'm older. They want to help you do this or help you do that. And she loves surprising people by not being who they always thought she was. And so, Grandpa, I know there's some things that you probably thinking, well, they probably would, this might be a little bit too much for them. But I don't think there's ever a time that we get to a place. Again, I don't think that we're ever grown with an end on it. I think we're always evolving. And the fact that you are on this podcast, so I guess if he's Grandpa, the rest of y'all are chill. Is that how that works? Okay. Right. Okay. Well, Grandpa looks a little chill to me too, so I don't know.
You're right.
Exactly. Okay, that's a good thing. But I mean, that too is revolutionary. Like when I first saw it, I was like, okay, wait a minute, let me check this out. But I think that's cool, because most people would not have grown to a place where they would have felt comfortable to be talking smack with younger people, because most younger people get on their damn nerve. Like, they don't want to hear us talk. They don't want to hear us think. They don't want any of. So that's revolutionary in and of itself. Another example of we are just such powerful people, and we can do so much, and we only use this much of our superpower. And here Grandpa is, like, at 8:00 at night with birds on, on his shoulder. He's not brushing his shoulders off. He actually letting somebody sit on him. And that's cool. Like, I love that. I wish that more people had the ability to be able to not act their age, whatever that is. That's one of the reasons
I have to give the credit to Brandon, because he got me in this.
Did Brandon do it?
He got me into this, yes.
Well, Brandon, yeah, Grandpa does. Yeah. He doesn't do anything he doesn't want to do, except maybe here.
I asked my mother, was I adopted, and she said, why would I have picked you?
I've never heard that before. Why would I pick you? Okay. Well, I'm glad you're here. And Brandon, I'm glad that you were able to get him to do that. And I believe shared stories save souls. And I think that it's a great thing that we're able to share stories in this way. And one of the things that I loved about it, because at first I'm like, now how am I going to fit in with this? And after I heard it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is getting ready to be lit for sure. I love it.
Yeah, we've been doing this
Thanks.
for a few years now, and I feel like we've talked to maybe literally hundreds of people. And
Yeah.
the thing that is crazy to me, or was really insightful, is I feel like nobody has their shit together. You know what I mean? So it takes the
That's the whole
pressure off.
truth.
You know? Um,
Right.
yeah,
Absolutely. Again, if misery loves company, we're in great company.
yeah.
For sure and for certain. So here I am, 58 years old. I've been doing psychotherapy forever. And it was like I was hearing it, and literally I've resurrected spirits and resuscitated lives and all those kind of good things. And then found myself in a codependent space and found out that
Mm,
I'm codependent. I was in well, wasn't physically abusive, but absolutely emotionally abusive, which is where this book was kind of birthed from. And most people didn't believe it, and I didn't believe it. Like, what? Like, what just happened here? But it was absolute the truth. So yeah, we're all getting our stuff together. And I think it's ever evolving because we have to incorporate other people in our world. We have to then adjust things. And most people don't do good at that. So yeah,
no, it's
if you,
hard.
hey,
Yeah.
Brandon, if you need company, boo, you're in good company.
Thank
I'm
you.
right here with you.
Yeah.
I'm right here with
'Cause I always feel like in my head, I'm like, well, I'll get this solved, or like by this age, I will be this or have this, or in my head, like not deal with this anymore. And then,
you.
like Grandpa's 83, and it's all the same, So it's just maybe being easy on myself, or like working overtime. It's a journey, not a destination.
Right,
So yeah,
right.
yeah.
And like you said, everybody going through something, especially those people that we unfortunately we idolize, whether it be sports figures. I know a few famous folks that are living in misery. My ex was a millionaire, and I absolutely know some things that people would go, "What?"
Yeah.
Um, and so it's not about money, it's not about power, it's not even about control, because even those people that are controlling people are usually coming from a place where they're living with some type of personality disorder, narcissistic personality disorder, or something like that. And those people got to be that way by the trauma in their lives, and they're doing what they do and saying what they say to protect themselves, and they definitely feel like it's me or you, and you're going to lose every time in those spaces and places. But I get to know those people and show them grace because I know what kind of trauma it takes to develop a narcissist, to develop somebody with borderline personality disorder, those types of things. And most people don't know what it is. They don't know, what it's about. And all they know is they got hurt, or that this person is mean or ill spirited. But there's a lot of stuff that comes behind that. And we don't take the time. We don't take the time.
Donald Trump.
Oh, what, Grandpa? Why you got to go there? I was trying to be good. You saw me over here just trying to tap dance around that.
Hmm.
Donald Trump is a narcissist, and therefore, when people, I'm blown away that people still expect him to go. I don't know why he would do that, and I understand exactly why. I have to do that to keep you from seeing who I truly am not, and what I am not, and what I can't do. Um, I have a parent that is a narcissist. My ex was a narcissist, and I'm able to understand the trauma. I know a little bit about his parent, one of his father, and what he had to endure to even be a son to someone like that. And like the apple doesn't fall far from the tree type of thing. Now, there's some things I think if presidents have to be physically able to be president, I also think they should have to be mentally able to be. And narcissistic personality disorder is a disorder. It is in the DSM. It should not be that someone can act and behave. And I'm not even speaking about the racist stuff or the misogyny or any of those types of things. I'm speaking just about him not being a caring, feeling person. But most corporations are run by narcissists. Most businesses are headed by narcissists. And so he's not any different than so when people say, well, I can't believe, but there's those people that truly do believe that they wish things could go back to the way they were, in that white folks had control and all the others did not. I understand that. But most of those people are people that feel and not feel some of the same things as him. And that is lack of empathy. The first thing that comes to mind, I remember the first time I saw it, when throwing paper towels in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And And it just hurts my heart, which is the reason I don't have a TV, because I could not take even watching it, because I knew it wasn't just him being an asshole. It was something deeper than that. It is something deeper than that. The fact that he probably wouldn't have ran for president if he had not lost, because narcissists don't like to lose. He ran for president, probably didn't even, not wanting to run, but wanting to win, wanting to be seen. And people took it. I mean, literally, he was able to get people to gravitate, and it doesn't make a difference. Why? Because I know people that vote for Trump. I know people that think he was a good president. That some people even think he's a good person. With those people are not usually the people that see and know the things that people that are educated and looks deeper will know, and that is, it can be very dangerous. They can be very dangerous, because if they're cornered, as you saw when he lost the election, they can do something. They can do damage. And that's the piece that is very, very, I'm very, very frightened about. And that's not even talking about race. That's not even talking about sexuality. It's not even talking about women or equal rights or any of those. This is just talking about mental health. And I think it's amazing that people know that he is what he is, and he could still run for president. Because I think if you being physically able to do something, definitely you being mentally able to do something. Joe Biden knowing that he's slipping, his cognition is slipping. So maybe this is not the best thing for me to do. Yeah, you're not going to get that from a narcissist. Grandpa, don't stir me up like that. Don't do that. Don't do that. I thought we was cool.
Well, I was kind of dragging my behind today, but you've really lifted my spirit a lot.
Very good.
I'm actually learning a lot.
Oh, very good. I love
enjoying
that. That's one of the reasons I've been with people that would have preferred me to keep my mouth closed. And I never know who's in front of me. I never know who was assigned to me. And so I'm not ever able to just be silent, especially when something is asked of me or I have the ability to be an example. I'm transparent to a fault. There's not anything. You just heard me talk about my attempted suicide. I tell most people I'm Miss 2022 Full Figure North Carolina. I won a beauty pageant. I made a movie. I wrote a book, and I did all of those things depressed and suicidal. I'm no longer suicidal, but I'm absolutely waiting to be elevated from this place, for sure. And my transparency is something that people are able to look at and feel and know that they are not alone. Those thoughts that they have and feelings about not wanting to be here. So I'm glad that you were able to share that with me. Even that's not something that most people are able to do, to feel something and then share it with somebody else. So I'm very thankful and very honored that I could elevate a spirit or two. That's amazing, just by doing what I love to do and being who I am. For sure.
I'm not really familiar with psychoanalysis, but the form of what you do, is it different than regular psychoanalysis or counseling?
Well, it's going to depend.
It fits in.
It's going to depend on who you're in front of. There's some people that need to prove who they are, and most therapists and psychiatrists, I'll probably get blown out the water for this, but it's the truth, need a lot of help themselves. I think that all of us should seek therapy before we attempt to administer therapy to other people. And so to me, when they talk about psychoanalyst, that's somebody that actually treats somebody, but also diagnoses them. And we could have a casual conversation, and all that needs to happen to get you to move and grow. Hence what we've done for the last hour. I've not pushed anything on anybody. You haven't had to lay down on the couch. We've been able to have this casual conversation. You're able to see an example, and still you can grow from that. That's literally the whole point of therapy, is to grow from one place, to mentally move from one place to another. Well, you can do that in casual conversation. We don't have a lot of it, though. Most people grow alone. They feel like they have to do what they have to do for themselves before they can go share it. One of the things that I'm going to do with this book is create challenges where people can get together and hold each other accountable when we're all trying to reach the same goal. Because people shouldn't have to grow by themselves. And it shouldn't be something that people are afraid of. Many people don't seek therapy because they see the Dr. Phils and the Iyanla Van Zants of the world is pointing their finger at them and blowing things out the water. And it doesn't have to be that. Grandpa, it could be the same conversation. In fact, I used to treat people that were 75 and older who had depression and loneliness and things of that nature. And literally, we just had conversations. And I think that we make a lot more of things to kind of justify our degree or justify our pay, but I think when you've been given the assignment, and I have been assigned, Angie, assigned to nurture growth in everyone, I make it as easy, mainly because I'm also not a person that knows a lot of big words. I'm a simple-minded chick, but I have a lot of common sense. That's not all that common, and it works. It works for most people. I think that I think I have a very good success rate as far as just getting people to be more open. Open means to be exposed and vulnerable to attack or question. Like, who would want to be open after that definition? But if you know there's some relief at the end, you would at least try it. My grandmother used to say, you don't have to swallow everything, but at least chew on it. And anything that you don't want, you can spit out. But you'd be surprised that you chew on that growth and be like, this feels good. This feels lighter. It feels different. And most people don't ever get to know that because of fear. Fear will keep us. So I'm very honored that, I'm seeing people shake their heads and those types of things. And that does my heart good. It does my heart good. I'm just go to other people like, see, that's why I'm not quiet. Helping grown folks grow up.
Mm-hmm.
From 83, who's the youngest on the call?
I think it's Sierra.
Sierra, how do you?
I'm 27.
Okay, so we got 83 to 27, and we all growing together, Grandpa. You see how that works?
Mm-hmm.
That's the way it's supposed to work. Are you about to 84 when? 84. I am 84. Oh, you are 84. Okay, that's even better. Better. Right. Like, I grew up an 84-year-old, y'all, in an hour. What? I could get a raise if I had a job, Okay. So yeah, I love that I'm able to get this and to be able to be a mover and a shaker in that way, getting people to see themselves and the power that we have, because we're some powerful, powerful people. And in my mind, that's the secret. That's what they don't want you to know, is how much power you actually have.
Yeah, I'm jazzed about you. I personally think that you hold. I think humans are very we're just hypocritical things. Like we're hypocritical, and you just ride it so well. Like you just like you're just living it, and I find it very just great. I appreciate you, because yeah, I love people, but also you hate them at the same time. And they give you life, but they also take away at the same time. And I think that again, it is remarkable in a sense to remark that you live in it very well. Like you own it, where I think a lot of people aren't, they don't even know. We're just disingenuous. I don't even know how disingenuous I'm being all the time, but I know that I'm on my route. I hope I can get to Angie way, but I truly I appreciate it.
I like that.
Look at poet over here in the making. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and what's really cool about what you just said is that most people aren't even aware enough to be able to say, I'm probably not even doing all that I'm supposed to do. I'm not being all that I'm supposed to be. And fake and phony is just the new reality of things. And it's mind-boggling to me. But I do get and understand that I'm sitting in a place where literally I had to grow up. Like, I've spent the last 4.5, almost 5 years by myself, and not just by myself. I'm without a job, without a partner. I don't have any family here, and not a village. So I've been in this protective custody without a whole lot of folks. So I've had to grow there. And my friends, well, the few that I have now, because most had to go away because they can't, they can handle the codependent Angie with a little knowledge. They definitely did. Yeah, they having troubles with this new chick who got boundaries and know how to say no and put herself first and those types of things. But I think people really Mm, it's just unfortunate that we're not able to get to a place where we can see something better and not just see money or see things. But me, I'm probably the most financially fragile I've been in my entire life, but I have more peace. Ooh, that inner peace that that happiness that's in the inside of you, and nobody can take that from me. So even if they came and repossessed my car and kicked me out of my place, I can still be peaceful. I can still find joy. I can still be happy as long as I can get some music in my ears or I got my little dog and whatnot. Yeah, those are things that people can't take from you, and so it makes sense to fine tune and build that up, so that no one can take your joy. No one can take your peace. No one can make me anything. I can only allow you, and I no longer give people that ability. I'm having to practice that big time these days, but not giving people the ability to move me from my center. But you have to find your center first. That's a challenge. Some people living on the edge and think it's the center. I know about that. I'm so happy to see you all smiling. I was like, okay, how you gonna fit in here? Like, where you gonna fit? Where you gonna go? Where you gonna grow? So yeah, I'm happy. I'm glad that you all exist for the people. Give them something to talk about, Grandpa.
For the people.
Talk about. Right. I love to dance.
Yeah, me too. I did karaoke recently and I enjoyed it. I don't like waiting for the next. I don't like waiting for other people. I like karaoke when it can just be me. That's my only issue with karaoke.
Did you do it sober or did you do it drunk, Phines?
I did it sober, actually.
Yeah.
I feel like I think I.
Like karaoke.
Oh yeah, karaoke. I just. Yeah, I mean, yeah. No. I need the people to be sober so they can again give me more attention when I'm doing it. I'm like, we need to focus, you guys.
Right. Okay. How did you all meet? Am I able to ask a question? How did this form? How did this get together?
I know Phines from the New York improv scene. His roommate Sonny was my friend, and then we became friends. And that's literally my grandpa. It is. And then through the podcast we met Sierra. So.
Okay then.
Yeah.
Well, good job. I love it.
I love it. We're going on 5 years or something crazy now. So.
That's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing. Well, thank you for being here, and thank you for reaching out. What did you see? Because literally, I just signed up the day before for podcast guests, and I was like, "This has got to be a joke." I thought I was being punked. I'm like, somebody just sent me this email. So as you saw, I didn't follow instructions. It says to do this, and I did something different, that type of thing.
No worries. It's very annoying and complex. Like everybody has trouble with all our sign up. Yeah. It's not a you problem for sure.
So who saw what, and what did you see and say, wait, she sounded like she might make some sense?
I really loved the growth for adults, and like this podcast is very intergenerational, and I just thought you seemed really cool and would fit. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I thought it might have been my hair.
I mean, me too, dude. Me too.
Okay. Even Grandpa got more hair than me. Like, wow. See, that's what I'm talking about, Grandpa.
You didn't see the back of my head.
Grandpa has both of his hairs.
Okay. Well, you probably got 2 more than I got. And I actually cut my hair like it'd be 5 years in November. And they said that your hair held stories. And I was trying to get the hell out of the horror book that I was in. And I had locks down to my butt that I've been growing for 12 years. And I sat in a hotel room in Dallas, Texas, and cut them all off. I had 172 locks and cut them all off. And then I had them. And I went to a wedding the next day. And it was the first time anybody had seen me with no hair. And when I tell you that I had never gotten so many compliments. I thought somebody paid people, like somebody like, hey, she's in a depressed state, go give her a compliment. I then decided not to grow my hair back. Like, I've officially divorced hair. I'm not going to have it back. And if and it's a freeing thing. I don't think I ever, as a Black woman, ever knew how free you could be with your hair. Oh, boo, I'll never have hair on top of my head again, ever, ever. But I did it initially because I just really felt like it was going to be helpful for me to move mentally. Like, okay, then, because every time I saw it, I saw like, okay, they wanted me to grow it. They wanted, all those types of things. I'm like, nah, we'll be out of here. Yeah. I still have them too. I still have them. I knew I was going to probably go back, and I'm not sure if you all knew this, but you can actually, hair that's detached can actually be reattached. And I was like, well, if I decided to go back, yeah, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to be a baldy forever.
Angela, is it proper for me to ask what type of career your daughter has?
My daughter?
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's proper. Yeah, it's your podcast, Grandpa. You can ask me whatever you want. I'm the guest. My daughter is actually a cocktail waitress at a hotel in Las Vegas. And let me tell you the great thing about that. I knew she didn't want to go to college, and everybody that knows me knows that I was about education. Well, I've come to think something different about education. I think it's just another way to rip people off of their money. The blessings and the gifts that we have are actually innate, and we don't have to go to college to pay for them. But anyway, and so when she told me she didn't want to go to school, she didn't even have to tell me. I was like, Dominique, if you don't want to, there's no sense in wasting money. If you don't want to go to school, you don't have to go. She is amazing at customer service. When I tell you amazing, this chick is, she's worked at United Healthcare, which is where I used to work at. Just customer service is her thing. And the kind of and she works the midnight. So she works from midnight to 7 a.m. or something like that. There's not a whole lot of people, but she says there's a whole lot of people out there gambling. The kind of tips this chick bring in just by being an amazing customer service person. And I'm so proud of her. Like, she is a mother and she is doing the doggone thing. And it didn't take a degree. And if she did customer service the rest of her days, I would be as proud of her, if not more proud, than seeing her walk across a stage in $70,000 worth of debt or that type of thing. And so, and she loves it. She thought she would, and she's a Libra. So I'm not sure if you know a whole lot about Libras, but they can change their mind every day. So one day she wanted to be this, and then she went and got that certificate for this, and then she's off on this sign language kick, and everybody was doing sign language and but I've always told her, you just do well at customer service. She just, yeah. So that's what she does. And she's not, it took her a minute to subscribe to this growth thing. Like most of the people in my family, I probably have to push it more on them than I do on anybody. And she didn't subscribe at first, like, okay, that's just mom talking, mom trying to get me to move or do a certain thing. But I started teaching my grandkids how to express themselves with emotions. So my 5-year-old at the time, she was like, Gigi, can you just tell mom, I just need to see the emotional wheel so that I can tell her what I'm really feeling. Like, and she's like, why you do this shit? Like, I gotta go through all of this stuff. And so it's been a challenge. But my 7-year-old, she's now 7, she can give me a run for her money. My 14-year-old, I wish I could read you the text. And she said, Gigi, it's just very difficult to make friends because I'm developing my relationship with Christ, 14, and I don't have very many Christian friends or family. Like, what? You know, giving her the ability to be able to do whatever, unapologetic. And she was literally a award-winning gymnast. She's been doing gymnastics. She was 3. She quit gymnastics, and she is all about her relationship with God and being, getting good grades. And I'm letting her know that she can do anything she wants to do, and it doesn't have to equal college. It just it has to equal what she's been here assigned to do. So she could be pipering some younger people or even older people to Christ. Ain't no telling. She's not a talker, so I don't see her in a pulpit or nothing like that. It would be a silent service because she doesn't talk a whole lot, but she's very powerful already at 14. I'm going to see her. She doesn't know it. I'm going to see her in a couple of days. I'm surprising them. All of their birthdays in October, 6th, the 9th, and the 16th. And so she's going to get to spend some time with her Gigi. Oh. What made you ask that question, Grandpa?
Well, it just gives me a little more understanding of your background as well.
Okay.
It helps me because I have children and grandchildren, and it helps me to have a better understanding of your
You
whole
you said, Angela,
situation in life.
you said that you're not optimistic for the future, and it's same. Dude. It's very hard to be, but like for your grandkid and like future generations, what do you hope, or what advice would you want to impart? You know, I'm really curious what the world will be like in 50 years, but
Right. I'm very hopeful that they are able to see past the BS, um, and really and truly be and become and remain authentic. Because I think in our most authentic states, we are a pure people, period. But because that was stripped from us and we were made to act this way and behave this way and say these things and not say these things and be very careful, like you have to tiptoe. And one of my sayings in my book is eggshells should be cracked, they shouldn't be walked on. You know, I'm hopeful that I'm between me and their mother, that they're given the opportunity to be able to speak. I know my younger granddaughter, I actually charged the family, like, let's not take from her. And in the African American culture, kids are to be seen and not heard. Like you're not coming in a room full of adults saying anything. Well, nowadays it's different. But I wanted her to be different. So she's like, Gigi, when you go to this event, you look around and see how many other women have hair. Like, women are just supposed to have hair. Like, she is on this thing about me being bald head. She just doesn't get why I cut my hair. But she was able to say that to me without a pushback. So definitely if she could talk to her Gigi and keep it real, she's not going to have a problem talking to the teacher, talking to somebody's, all those things. And she can do that in a respectful way where she knows those are her opinions. So it's my hope that people are able to harness their power and their superpower, and they're able to be and remain authentic, and able to see people and not color and not race. I am so blown away at, like, if you were tending to your business, you wouldn't have time to be tending to mine. Like, and I check myself all the time because I'm a very judgmental person. So as soon as I see somebody else with something on their head or shoes, because I'm a shoe whore, some shoes that I don't like, the first thing I say to myself now is check yourself. I can never get past checking myself to be able to check anybody else. So I'm hopeful that they're able to just be, I'm hoping they're able to be fire and do what needs to happen. And I think we had a wave of that back in the 60s and 70s. I think we've been conditioned now not to be that. And I'm hopeful that this new generation will know their power and use it for their good, the good of themselves and the good of other people. I do love all people. I don't like most of them though. I don't. So I hope that gives you and everybody else a little something. And all of it starts with literally getting to know yourself and having a true relationship with yourself. Everything that I'm able to do for somebody else, I'm able to do for and with me first. I go out to eat by myself. I know how to party by myself. I learn line dances here at night. I got a stripper pole here in my apartment. I do all things by myself. And I love this relationship I've cultivated with me. And it helps me enhance the relationships I have with other people. Most people, their first relationships are outside of themselves. And that shouldn't be. It shouldn't ever be that way. Yeah. I could go on and on, as you can see, Brandon. So, yeah.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We are at time, but we always do last thoughts on the show. So if anybody wants to just go around, say a last thought.
Yeah, I want to hear your last thoughts. Phines, I need you to know that I'm going to do something with that name. That I just love that. I love that it looks one way, just like you talked about Indiana earlier. It looks one way, but you come in a whole different angle. Like they ain't even ready, boo.
Yeah, not ready. Thank you. I appreciate it. And my mom appreciate. I let her know. I pass it on because she's very. I guess it's my daddy's name too. He's my senior. But my last final words is. I mean, I can just reiterate just truly I feel very I do feel blessed to have you in my presence, and I it's good to have just Yeah, exactly what I said. It's just a good breath of fresh air. I'm definitely gonna tell my dad, and I talked to he's like my best friend, so it is finest and finest. But I always tell him it's a breath of fresh air to like you just meet people that are just like there, very present, and I this is very very nice to have you, and I appreciate you, and thank you for coming on.
Oh, it was definitely my pleasure, sure for certain. Go ahead, Grandpa, give it to me.
Well, I've learned a little more about myself, getting into my own emotions and trying to figure out, what makes me tick. And you brought out things that I wasn't totally aware of.
All
So
righty,
I appreciate having an opportunity to spend time with you.
That is amazing. Yay. I'm going to send you all. I did a self-assessment quiz to go along with this book I just dropped. I'm going to send it to you because I think you all would benefit from it. I think everybody would, but for sure.
Wow, thank you. I think I'm going to get a coloring book as well. I forgot to say that. I think
Oh,
I
yeah.
got to figure out how to get one of those.
Oh, yeah. I'll send you all the information. Because me and Brandon are email friends now because I've emailed him like 17 times already.
18, 25. You can email me whenever you want.
That's hilarious.
No way.
Okay. Sierra?
Yeah, thank you so much for coming. You're so interesting, Angela, and I love hearing you talk about like so many things that we just don't talk about, I'll be thinking about like having fun and like what does it even mean to have fun and like how can you have it without buying things, like without the consumerism. Like what does it even look like? Or like what does it feel like to just like be having fun?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thinking a lot about it.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think you're amazing, and I really appreciate you coming on. Because of me, pretty much the podcast has been inconsistent to like the last however many months, and this time and last, like it's just so nice to be back. I really, really appreciate like the show. Can you tell everybody where to find you, where to find your stuff, all the links, all that?
Of course. I am Googleable, so you can Google Angie Harvey, but I'm also on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok under Angie Harvey Speaks. Also, my movie is Black Rainbow Love. That too is Googleable. The book is called Poetic Alchemy, but it's on all platforms. And my email and the website is The Poetic Alchemy. It's up on Amazon and available for purchase. And I just got my first review. Woo, woo, woo. If you want an autographed copy, though, you have to order through the website. And the website for all things is Angie Harvey Speaks. Because when Angie Harvey speaks, shift happens.
Period.
Yes, and you see, we just did that. We just shifted.
Amazing.
In this last hour and a half. So yeah.
Thank you
Proof
so
is in the
much.
pudding.
Thank you so
Oh,
much,
you're so
guys.
very welcome.
Yeah.
Yay. Thank you all very much.
That's another episode of
Podcasting with Grandpa Bart and Rosie, always on his shoulder. This is Grandpa and Chill.
Grandpa and Chill is brought to you by your hosts, Brandon Fox, Bart Frank, and Phines Jackson. Our producer is Sierra Doss. To watch and listen to full episodes of the show and follow us on social media, visit grandpaandchill.com. That's grandpaandchill.com.